Recording. All right, so we're going to do our exteriors class today still on primary, which means we're still on food instead of odor, because we kind of finished our series of introduction to Nosework, and all the dogs are doing great, searching the boxes, and we actually have gone outside a few times, but we kind of kept our environment pretty sterile, still mostly concrete and everything. But it's perfectly fine to do an exterior introduction with them still being just on food. And since we were off the last few weeks, I didn't want to, and then next week everybody's going to agility or something, so I didn't want to start odor today and then have another break, So that's what we're going to do today. And so the exteriors class is the wonderful distractions of the great outdoors. I know. So just think, what does your dog usually do when you go outside with your dog?
Boy, she sniffs.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, she's down there, and we had to stop at this bush for 20 minutes.
Yeah. So you're playing with them, right? And they're smelling. They get to self-explore. They're pooping, they're peeing, sniffing, everything. Yeah. So far, of course, we've used our wonderful boxes to give them that context clue to learn the game, which is great. But now we're going to be asking them to give up those regular activities outside while we're doing Nosework. So it's going to take, and it's one of our key words, patience, right? Okay, and remember, dogs can smell everything. So it's not just, obvious things we see, but there's tons of smells out here that we aren't even aware of, So the dog has a challenge of really sorting out a lot of different odors and searching for the food and later the odor that we're going to use in Nosework. But we really want the dogs to continue to enjoy the game. So we don't want to push the dogs, we don't want to push them too hard, expect too much of them. We don't want this to ruin the game in any way. So that's why we're really going to need patience. And we're going to build slowly, because that's what's really going to result. That's the strong foundation part, building the strength slowly, and that's what will make the strong dog. And like I talked about, like Jira, strong dog still get distracted, but is able to leave it and move on, get back to work. So when we make a big change like this, I remember in the course we watched a lot of videos. Sometimes the dogs will really react. Now your dogs may not, because they are used to doing other sports, and ignoring other distractions, so they should be pretty good. But they may get unfocused. I saw dogs in the video, they got the zoomies. They're like running wildly around. It was so funny. So what we're working towards is that their desire to get to odor is so strong that it overrides the environment. And you get this with the good foundational training, because remember, environments, our other big word, is the most critical aspect of building the dog's search strength. That they can search anywhere, anytime, they can get to work. So, but we do acknowledge the environment with all its distractions, but we want the dogs to leave the distractions, and go to odor. So in exterior searches, we also have the added challenge of wind flow. Now, we had that a little bit over in the parking lot, but we've done a lot of interior work too, so wind wasn't really a factor. And it, of course, moves the odor around. So we're going to have them on leash this whole time today, because we're outside, so you need to leave plenty of play in your line, so that the dog may be following the odor outside away from it, and then picking it back up and hopefully working it to source. Now, if your dog gets focused on some other yummy smells around here, you don't want to get in the habit of yanking them off, So instead, just use a little noise to distract them off. So if they're over here on this bush and that's the odor's not there, because we know where the odor is, then you can just say, a lot of people say pop, 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 or I click my tongue to try with. Because if you say their name, sometimes that completely interrupts their flow at all. You have to know your dog, but I usually just go, and then she's just like, oh, what, and then she gets back to work, So also, if they're not responding to that, you can also, out of your little bag, use a piece of food, and you can just actually lure their head up. Don't give it to them, but then move them off. So instead of the pulling. Okay, and you could say something like, okay, let's go. Or you could give the search command, but again, don't want to be giving the search command over and over again. Okay, so we're going to start our exteriors with a very small search area. We're going to do our boxes because we haven't been together for a couple of weeks, just to get the dogs back, their heads back in the game. and it'll be fun. So we'll just have each person do a couple passes. I got a couple food boxes out there. Then I'll pick up the boxes, and then we're going to use this patio area. It has a wall here, and it's pretty sterile, but it, has plenty of objects, and then it'll kind of keep the odor a little contained, so it'll make it easier for them as we get started. It'll trap the odor a little bit, and then we're going to go to over here, which I said earlier, and we'll use like this one section on this side of the bridge. So we want to keep the search areas fairly small. We're going to have the hides be, of course, very easy because we're setting our dogs up for success. We're not testing our dogs right now because they're our young dogs. We're building their strength. So, any questions?
I just realized I forgot.